Free afterburners, the discovery of Cybrex remnants, and a Gaia world right next door, if a bit heavily fortified, are just 3 of the things going right for the Modian Curators so far. Hello, Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris First Contact in our Clandestine Curiosity series. So, as I mentioned towards the end of the last episode, we have a science vessel that is kind of hopping its way home. We need 59 more days in order for this jump drive to fully recharge, so shouldn't take too long. But this is the downside of starting, or I suppose one of the downsides, but the most obvious downside of the Eager Explorers Civic. You can't really give orders that involve multiple long jumps. What's this? Technology continues to progress on Fear Mathrios 1 as industrialization takes their society to new heights. Their most recent breakthrough, so this seems like a new event, or at least that sound does, for First Contact, in engineering has revolutionized their use of transportation and brought them a step closer to planetary unification. Defying our prediction models, Fear Mathrios 1 is now a unified world. Pooling their resources, the people have prioritized the well-being of the global community and living standards are rising. Interesting. So, remarkable. This is highly uncommon. We gain engineering research and progress towards our next insight technology. So that was a huge jump in our observation insights. So it's interesting that the first society that we've observed is progressing so quickly. They're still in the steam age, but they're globalized at this point, oddly enough. Anyway, so we're waiting on this ship to be able to jump back, and it looks like they can right now. Hey, a small short-range transmitter has been located on the surface of Velderam 7. It appears to be an ancient survey marker placed here eons ago to mark a large deposit of precious minerals. The miners it was meant for evidently never arrived, as the deposit is still here. Fascinating. Alright, so that's here on Velderam 7, and we now have the ability to get a little bit more mining output from that world than just a moment ago, so that's good. Right now, hang on, there is an anomaly. It might be worth investigating that in chalk, so why don't you go ahead and move here, and then we'll have you investigate that once you get there. Boom, you're there. Research that, please. It's level 3. Genevieve Allenby is level 2, so we'll take it. I think I do have the ability to build some starbases. No, not quite. We still need 7 more influence. We need 70 altogether in order to build a starbase here. Where else can we build one, though? Velderam might be the smartest choice for like the very next starbase to build, so let me go ahead and lock that down while I can. So this is currently producing, I guess that's a rate of 1 per month? Yep. An outcome will be reached in 12 months, the very first insight technology, not only for me in First Contact, but in this series.
A system has been charted.
I have played First Contact in some other series, but like only at the beginning, or not series, in other saves, but only at the very beginning of the game. I haven't gotten very far because I wanted to save most of those observations for this series and actually experiencing it for the first time alongside all of you in this particular YouTube venture. So, a comet blazes a trail across Modia's horizon, a bright envoy from distant stars. The Modian people find great joy in this reminder, vague as it is, that we are not alone in this universe. They are more supportive than ever of the Modian Curators' ambition to greet the galaxy with open arms. So unity gained 40, and that gave us a tradition. Perfect. So either the research subsidies edict or leader experience gain, both of which are pretty handy. I think I would like to go for that edict, though, and then let's see if we have room to actually declare it. No, we don't. We'd have to raise our edict fund. I mean, we could do it right now, but it would eat up like almost the entirety. It would eat up the entirety, in fact, of our monthly unity gain. So we don't want that at all. Ooh, gigantic skeleton. What was previously thought to be assorted mountains in the southern hemisphere of Chalks 5 have been identified as the massive skeletal remains of a single colossal alien life form, so it was not a mountain range. The bones have been dated as 3.4 billion years old, but our scientists have ruled out that Chalks 5 could have supported life on that scale at any point in the planet's history. Science officer Genevieve Allenby has prepared a special research project to delve further into this mystery.
Amended.
Thank you, Barnaby. All right, let's go ahead and research that. And hopefully it won't take too long. I do have the ability to build a few more things here, so let's take a quick look, because I'm noticing that we are down some amenities And that can probably be addressed in a couple of different ways. Most obvious way would be, we already have commercial zones, so I already have most of the buildings that provide amenities, but holotheaters do appear to provide unity in addition to amenities, so let's go ahead and get that going. Seems like a good idea. Alright, this exploration vessel down here is done. You are level 3. Alright, why don't you go ahead and survey that? I want to find out what's going on in that system next to our friends, the Guardians of Zanam. Oh, hey! Continental world. We will be able to colonize that, thank God. Okay. Starting to look a little better on the colonization front. That's one thing that hadn't really happened yet, because we have that Gaia planet, but that's guarded. We're not colonizing that anytime soon.
Research complete.
Research lab. Research is done. So now we should probably go ahead and research hyperdrives before anything else, just to get caught up. It's going to take 102 months. I hate that. But to have the ability, I don't necessarily need it right now, but I'm anticipating that by the time it's done, I will need it.
Is finished.
So that's a lot of enthusiasm, Barnaby. So I just would rather go ahead and get that started so that in the event that something happens that I'm like, oh man, I really need hyperdrives now, I'm not 102 months away from finishing it. Our continued studies of the massive skeletal remains on Chalks 5 have managed to shed some light on how the creature ended up on the planet. There are very faint residual energy readings that indicate some kind of dimensional portal existed briefly toward the rear of the skeleton. Science officer Genevieve Allenby theorizes that the creature passed through this gateway from another dimension only to quickly perish in the hostile environment of Chalks 5. Why it did this and where it came from are questions that may never be answered. Sad day. But that was a physics research boost, and I believe physics is the technology that is researching hyperdrive. Yes, it is. So now we're 54 months remaining, which is nice. Gathered enough information to create a new insight technology to explore further. The next time we have an observation event that would advance our insight, we will gain a new research option. Nice. It said low awareness for a second. I thought it said low awesomeness. Okay, so we can do things that manipulate the awareness level of the civilization, which is fascinating. Right now, can I see how aware they are? I should be able to. Low awareness. Okay, so that's where we see it. Oh, also here. For whatever reason, I was looking at that. I know that was right on the screen. But I was looking at that as what we would typically see as like the relationship level. So I wasn't even processing that that was showing a different piece of information based on the fact that this is a pre-FTL species. So it's right there. Right in my face. Insight breakthrough eminent. Amazing. I'll be curious to see what kind of possibilities are gained as a result. Alright, can we go ahead and build that starbase? Yes, we can. And then... well, this is actually a pretty big system. Good. The Abriri system. I mean, it's... the habitability on the continental world is not that great. I don't love that. But it's a continental world. It is a wet world. Anomaly. Oh, this is an Abriri. Sensors pick up an unexpected activity from unisolated point on Abriri 5's frozen surface. Look into that for me, please. And thankfully, we're already approaching the point where we can build an additional starbase and lock down another system. As a matter of fact, we already have an engineering ship in place to do that. Salty. Oh yes, this event. It's been a while. Science ship MCS Success came up short with regards to its original mission of investigating possible activity on the frozen surface of Abriri 5. There is seemingly nothing of note but ice and rock. However, Science Officer Charlotte Pitt, a self-proclaimed gourmet chef and history buff, I knew this was coming, claims to have made an important discovery. A chemical compound found in the surface ice layers in several regions of Abriri 5 is allegedly, supposedly, closely related to Modian stellar salt, an ingredient integral to many traditional Modian dishes and thought extinct on Modia. It has long been speculated that Modian stellar salt was never native to our homeworld, but was brought to the surface by some meteorite impacts in the distant past. The science officer's discovery on Brewery 5 lends some credence to this theory, though Charlotte Pitt leans heavily on properties described in ancient cookbooks predating modern chemistry to prove the saline connection. Whether the salt, analyzed and synthesized, actually tastes like the Modian stellar salt of old is ultimately of little consequence. Just the idea of traditional foods now possessing more historically accurate flavor profiles is bound to stimulate both the Modian economy and palate. Salty modifier. Added for 20 years. Happiness, plus 5%. Well, that could help, given that this continental world is going to be hard to colonize. I will take it. We still have a little bit more exploring to do, though. So once this... Alright, this vessel is done, so let's have you come back down to Firmathrios. Velderom has been added to our territory, so we're going to add those mining outposts. We're doing okay resource-wise for the time being. Alright, and once that is done recharging, again, we have to wait for each jump. This is just our lot for the time being. But in 44 months, we will have hyperdrives, and everything will be fine. And the hyperdrives should be sent to the science ships automatically. Those are not ships that have to be upgraded. But it might be different for the precursor. So I might go old school a little bit. Barren grounds and vibrant skies. Once down on the surface of Cool 2, it was clear that a civilization had indeed flourished here until as recently as a few centuries ago. At some point, a sudden and total... You are supposed to be paused. Catastrophic event gripped the world. Apparently some sort of internecine struggle between nation-states led to a terminal exchange of weapons of mass destruction. Oddly, although the surface is scoured clean and dead, the sky is alive with the shifting hues of a perpetual aurora borealis. It's a striking vista. The desolate steel and stone carcasses of entire cities painted by the vibrant, scintillating colors dancing in the sky. Interesting. So we got some minor artifacts from that. Keep digging. And only one choice now, leader experience gain plus 25% or leader level cap plus 1. And yes, of course, with any of these new traditions, I could also start a new tree, but I want to move towards one ascension perk as soon as possible, mainly because there are buildings, such as the Autochton Monument, which produce additional unity as soon as you have additional ascension perks. Well, in this case, we have no ascension perks yet, but once we have an ascension perk, the Autochton Monument will be a lot more useful on every world on which it is built. Right now we just have one planet, but you get the idea.
We grow ever stronger.
Alright, now we can also build a starbase in Fionis, but I would like first of all to build one in a brewery so that we can colonize that planet. It's not going to be super easy at first, but I'll take it nonetheless. Okay, I would like to explore Ferodengraw. That's an interesting system name, and this is a big... Oh wait, no, this is a brewery. This is also a big system. Nice. That's what I like to see, because this is within our territory. Well, will soon be. And anything with the potential to add to our resource intake in significant fashion, sooner rather than later, I won't complain about that. I'm just really curious to see what the insight technology is going to be, because I know next to nothing. And I mean, apart from what I've researched for the opening of this series, I know nothing about the insight technologies, as I suppose is true for most of us at this point.
We grow
so let's find out.
Stronger.
Right. We completed the construction of the starbase. Let's build a mining station. And I guess I can colonize. This is interesting, though, because do I have to send it manually? I do want to go ahead and send them. So there'd be an increase in upkeep and resource usage, but I feel like it's sort of necessary. So Port Eleanor, love that idea. Port Neville. Delmuth. Avonhead. Let's go with Avonhead for the very first colony name.
Space charts updated.
So I think the colony ship, I will have to send it orders to hop from system to system. Alright, so we've fully explored Gatria. Let's now survey Galamon. And we'll move an engineering vessel to Gatria so we can lock it down. Ooh, very soon we'll be able to lock down chalks as well.
Stronger.
Nice. Life signs have been detected coming from inside the atmosphere of this gas giant. Could it indicate the presence of some kind of biosphere? This better not be the event I think it is. But it probably is. It probably is. That would be our luck. I forget what their name is. The gas giant, gaseous beings that constantly just want you to do things for them. The freeloaders. Alright. Cascading catastrophe. We did indeed discover life on Ferodan Gra 6, but by our actions it has since been eradicated. The microbial creatures which lived in the outer edges of the gas giant's atmosphere reacted poorly to our deep scans. These frequencies caused each creature's cellular structure to resonate, an effect that then cascaded and spread from gasmite to gasmite. Each was rendered inert soon after. We are now in orbit over the largest graveyard in the universe. Can anything be done? So I've actually already gotten this event. I've gotten it in one of the opening playthroughs I did practicing this, and I don't think it was actually in the introduction of this in the last episode. It might have been, but I don't think it was. I think it was an offline play. So this is reducing our happiness after we got that happiness boost from the salt. So there are some things that can be done, but it's going to take science research to get it done, which will slow down the acquisition of our hyperdrive. So there's not a time limit on this, so I may wait until the hyperdrive is done, and then we can restore that. So we're going to have to live with the lower happiness, which will affect the new colony we're about to build, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and build that starbase. And then you move there. Ship sensors are picking up an unexplained pattern of interference in the Galaman system. Research, please. So you can definitely tell that we have an increased amount of anomaly discoveries happening as a result of all of our positive modifiers in that case. Stellaris is absolutely a game of modifiers upon modifiers upon modifiers upon more modifiers. But we have a lot of bonuses to our anomaly discovery chance. Sonified science. The MCS Resolution crew has succeeded in isolating a signal embedded within the unusual pattern of interference in the Galaman system. The signal is a song. A complex sonification of an advanced mathematical equation, to be precise, and one that science officer Genevieve Allenby cannot seem to get out of their head. Who or what may have composed this song remains unknown, though its complexity infers an incredible level of technological sophistication regarding subspace harmonics. The signal's geodesics suggest a point of origin from outside of our galaxy. So we're going to gain physics and society research from this, which is handy. So let's see how big of a jump that gives us. Beautiful. Now we're just about 2 years away from the hyperdrive. A new faction has recently been founded, or recently been gaining traction. I love that. Just the rhyme, accidental or not, in the internal political landscape of the Modian Curators, led by scientist Genevieve Allenby. They call themselves the Prosperity League. The members lobby for a national focus on financial growth and stability through peaceful means. A disgruntled faction will be a source of trouble, but one that approves of the government's actions could prove useful. Okie doke. Alright, new faction. They call themselves the Alien Reform Observatory. Their members have been pushing hard for friendly relations with alien species. Alright, so we now have 2 factions. Let's take a quick look. So one of them is actually led by the Queen. And they want indirect xenology, no purges. They want to enlighten pre-FTLs. They also like first contacts. Outright invading pre-FTL worlds will displease the Alien Reform Observatory. They want proactive first contact protocols, which we have. And they want benevolent subjugation. So this is a very happy faction right now. And then the other faction right now just wants us to keep the peace. This is very different, especially if you haven't played Stellaris in a while, or if you haven't played Stellaris before, but you've watched me play or are watching me play right now in Heralds of the Dark Nova, which is running concurrently with this series. All that series is pre-recorded in the previous version of the game, 3.6 Orion, but that series was a lithoid hive mind series. So factions didn't exist. They weren't a thing. When you have a Gestalt consciousness, it does not, or a Gestalt consciousness rather, it does not give you factions of any kind, because you're a hive mind. You're unified. You are all one, literally, not just figuratively. So, okay, it looks like building the holotheaters did resolve the amenity issue on Modia, which is good. And we are almost done with our colony ship.
What have we here?
What have we here? Our initial scans have caught an irregular signal reminiscent of our own distress patterns in the Ferodan Gra system. Interesting. Reminiscent of our own distress patterns. Okay, research that, please.
We grow ever stronger.
There we go. Alright, we need to get chalks pulled into our territory as soon as possible. Because that wormhole I want to have in my borders. The signal we intercepted was a distress call from a ship in orbit around Frodengras 7. The ship is not giving off any heat signatures and seems to be drifting. A special project has been issued to investigate what has happened to the crew. So, as I recall, when you investigate this, this almost certainly leads to the death of a scientist. So, I'm going to take the somewhat unusual approach, even though narratively you would think, okay, well, in terms of, you know, them being curious and wanting to investigate things, wouldn't they pick intriguing? And wouldn't they try to investigate the special project, the derelict ship? But when you played Stellaris for a while and you've lost good science officers to this, it's fairly difficult, I think, to avoid the loss of the science officer, so I'm just gonna, you know, we're just gonna let that event die. The MCS Dainty. Name of our colony ship.
Ever stronger.
Oh, wow.
The system has been charted.
Good. Alright, so let's go ahead and explore here now. And where else can we explore? There's a lot of, like... I like these mini clusters. We're surrounded by them, so I'm really hoping to lock down as many of these as I can. How close are we, by the way, to jump drives? 19 months. Uh-oh. Encounter in Bermuda. Wait, in Bermuda? Wait. What are you talking about? They both show up in Bermuda? The Kappa aliens and the Phi aliens. Until we can find out more about them, if they possess a language, we must decipher it in order to establish communications. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it shows that the contact happened in Bermuda because of something to do with the new Civic. Maybe the game doesn't communicate the actual first contact location properly. That would be my guess. So let's go ahead and set up. Sorry, I just made a note of something real quick. Let's go ahead. Ooh, we do have these extra envoys. I forgot about that. So we'll begin the first contact process with the Kappa aliens. And also we will begin it with the Phi aliens. So that was fast. 2 at once. Unexpected. And of course we have this final tradition. Researcher upkeep minus 20%. And because we've completed discovery, we get 10% extra research speed, and we have gained access to the Research Cooperative Federation type, and we've unlocked an Ascension perk. So I think technological ascendancy is the most sensible thing to go for, especially given that we've started at a technological advantage. Transcendent learning is also not a bad idea given that our leaders are fleeting. They will gain additional experience and reach 2 levels higher before they die. So either of those are in theory good ideas. I think technological ascendancy is the way I'm going to go this time though. Alright, so can I once again... No, we have to wait another 80 days. So there is a Savannah world here, 24-slot Savannah world. Modian Curators has finally encountered fellow wanderers among the stars. I might not have set up the... It's interesting. I might not have set up the species descriptors properly because the grammar's not working out every time you see these, but I'll just try and self-correct as I read through events in the series. Despite their intentions being unknown and potentially even hostile, the atmosphere on Modia following the report from our contact fleet can best be described as rapturous. Intriguing. Yeah, they're very curious. And clandestine. What else can we do now? Alloy foundries might be a good idea at this point. Or research labs, maybe. Yeah, let's do research labs. This will translate some consumer goods. Ooh, wait. Consumer goods? Okay, I'll let that slide. It's probably going to create a shortage. But we might be able to deal with that sooner than later.
An anomaly.
Okay, I want you to move to Velderam. And we have an anomaly. An abandoned ship has been left to drift aimlessly above this planet. The massive sails protruding from its hull suggest that it relied on solar power to function. Go ahead and research that for me. And also, can we yet... Not just yet. 31 influence.
Research complete.
Nebula refinery. Good. So 10% additional mining output from all of our mining stations. Engineering research from researchers. I will probably... Yeah, let's go ahead and just get this done. Again, building up our research speed to help us catch up is a huge priority at the moment. Okay, 100 days. So about the middle of the year. And I'll be able to jump and colonize a brewery. We've discovered an abandoned solar sail ship in orbit around Balawar 9. The sublight vessel was built by an unknown culture and appears to be several thousand years old. One of the massive sails has a large tear, where some kind of object passed through, most likely a meteoroid, which appears to have disabled the vessel. Although the technology of the ship is severely outdated, it does possess some interesting engineering design choices, an interesting, albeit primitive, design. So that's a huge win, actually. 264 engineering research just almost chopped that in half. So we'll take that. Outbreak. What's this? A novel zoonotic disease has appeared on Fear Mathriel's 1. Without the medical technology required to combat the infection, the population is quickly succumbing to misery and death. So we can watch and learn. We can provide aid. Or we can promote the disease. Oh my god. Watch and learn. Yeah, I would rather go for the interesting insights. This seems, I don't think it's necessarily, that's a really high upkeep right there that I don't want to pay for, and I'd rather get the insights. So watch and learn. All right, and we should be at a point, where we can travel to a brewery. Finally.
Our lookouts have detected an anomaly.
Optical sensors isolate a cluster of shapes on the barren surface of Balawar 4A that could be buildings. Leave that be for now. That's a little bit challenging. And you need to colonize this planet. Yes, I want to colonize the planet. Good lord. All right, I had already named it, and now I don't remember what the name was. Maybe I can pop it back up if I kind of like... Was it Avonhead? I think it was Avonhead. Here, I'll see if I can copy-paste that. And if it doesn't pop up again... There, yep, it was Avonhead. Perfect. Dunham Avonhead. No. Avonhead. There we go.
A system has been charted.
So how close are we? 6 months away from hyperdrive. That should be a good stopping point for the episode, too. So we're going to get hyperdrive, and we'll finally have the ability to just hop around a little bit more easily. Oh, check this out. There's actually no... This is a pocket here. So we have complete control of this. That's wonderful.
Land ho! A new colony is underway!
The first Modian colony. Our colony ship has gently touched down at the mouth of a large river delta on one of the several continents that can be found on Avonhead. This temperate, forested region will serve as an ideal first landing site. The ship has been permanently converted into the administrative headquarters of the new settlement, and its reactor core is in the process of being removed, so that it may serve as the colony's temporary power source. Hundreds of small tents and prefab shelters have sprung up around the former starship's massive hull as colonists begin to disembark in large numbers, the first Modian city on an alien world. A great day. And that's more engineering research, by the way. So that helps us ensure that we finish. Yep, there was another huge chunk of time taken off of that. So that's fantastic. Kappa aliens. We picked up readings of unknown nature Readings of unknown nature. I would rather say unknown nature. The signals seem to follow some kind of repeating syntax which could indicate a sapient origin. It should be investigated further. They seem to be concentrated around a single space station, though it is unclear whether this forms part of a larger spacefaring civilization. Okay, so... This is not in Bermuda, though. It's not in Bermuda, so I don't know what this is referring to. I don't see any indication of an enclave anywhere. Alright, so I think we got the same event for both of those first contacts. Something seems a little bit wonky, but I'll roll with it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Farod and Gra into my territory, so that I can have that border locked down.
Research complete.
And there we have it, the hyperdrive. Like the strands of a spider web, the extra-dimensional realm of hyperspace runs between the gravity wells of most stars. Faster than light travel is theoretically possible among these hyperlanes. Good. So let me go ahead and... yeah, we're going to go with the energy credits boost from technicians just to make sure we stay ahead of that potential issue. Do we now have... here's the question. No, we don't. Maybe we need to... maybe we need to unpause, though. That's interesting. So... do I now need to build? Yeah. Yeah, I need to build ships. Oh, that's weird. I mean, it's fine, but that's weird. So I can give science ships, and also let's go ahead and build 3 construction ships as well. So we just need to build the new types. They don't get upgraded at all, they just get replaced. But now we'll be able to move easily. Much more straightforwardly. Battle War 1. Strategic resource discovered. The MCS Resolution has discovered a previously unknown strategic resource on Balawar 1, dubbed volatile motes. Nice! These preternatural particles contain a tremendous amount of energy, which could be exploited in energy production as fuel or even as explosives. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. Yeah, that is the plan. It is also the plan, now that we're 32 minutes into this episode, for me to stop this recording here and proceed towards the next one. But in that next one, we are going to continue to lock down some of these auxiliary systems that are close by that weren't necessarily like high priority for locking down right away. But it does also seem like the Balawar system is yet another area that's kind of connected as a spoke to other areas of the galaxy. So if I lock down that particular juncture, it'll allow us to have a little bit more control over our territory and defending it. But so far, I mean, we have some first contact processes going, but they're not behaving normally. Like, I didn't actually see any science ships, and I don't know where these aliens may be or who they are. It's saying that they were all encountered in the Bermuda system. So, question mark. Not sure if it's a bug or if it's a feature, but we will see when these first contact processes resolve themselves. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at 4 p.m. US Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.